Most rich people don't look rich. They don't roll up in the newest whip, they don't flood Instagram with vacation pics every month, and they rarely look impressive from the outside. Half the time, they look ordinary, sometimes even like they're falling behind. Beat up cars, small apartments, brown bag lunches. If you pass them on the street, you might think they were barely scraping by. And yet, quietly, something else is brewing. My name is Mike, and I'm about to show you 8 signs that you're quietly stacking wealth, even if your bank account doesn't scream rich yet. Sign 1. The raise that disappeared into thin air. Let's start with something weird. You got more money last year, could have been a promotion, a new job, a cost of living bump, doesn't matter. Point is, your income went up, and then nothing happened. You didn't move, didn't upgrade your car, didn't start eating out more or booking trips. Your life looks exactly the same as it did before the raise. From the outside, it's like the money never showed up. But here's what's really going on. That extra cash didn't vanish. It just went somewhere most people never send it. Savings, investments, debt payoff, the invisible places where wealth actually grows. Most people treat a raise like permission to spend more. Bigger apartment, nicer stuff. Suddenly their expenses rise to match their income and they're right back where they started. But you, you let the gap widen. And that gap, the space between what you make and what you spend, that's not boring. That's compounding in real time. If your lifestyle hasn't inflated with your paycheck, you're not stuck, you're stacking. Sign 2. You've started doing the math on everything. You're in a coffee shop. Someone orders a $12 latte without blinking. You're standing there with your $4 drip coffee thinking, that's an extra $8, 5 days a week. That's $2,000 a year. Invested over a decade, that's 30 grand. You're not judging them. You're just calculating. And once you start seeing money this way, you can't unsee it. Every purchase becomes a trade-off. Not just what it costs today, but what it costs tomorrow, what it costs in freedom, in options. In time, you'll have to work to replace it. This isn't obsession, it's awareness, and most people never develop it. And they spend reflexively, emotionally, without ever connecting the dots between today's choice and next decade's reality. But you've made that connection, and once it clicks, your behavior changes without effort. You're not depriving yourself, you're just awake. And being awake is expensive for your future self in the best possible way. Sign 3. Your money has become invisible. Here's a strange one. You barely think about your finances anymore, not because you're ignoring them, but because you've automated the whole system. Money hits your account. A chunk goes to investments before you see it. Another chunk covers bills. What's left is yours to spend without guilt. No drama, no decisions, no willpower required. It just happens. Meanwhile, people around you are constantly wrestling with money. Should I invest this month? Should I save more? Should I move things around? They're exhausting themselves with decisions you made once and never revisited. And here's the thing. Invisible money is working money. The moment your wealth building runs on autopilot, you've crossed a line most people never reach because willpower runs out. Systems don't. If your money moves itself into the right places without you thinking about it, you're not just organized. You're rich in the making. Sign 4. You've stopped comparing yourself to people who are faking it. This one hit me hard. You used to scroll through social media and feel behind. Everyone's traveling, everyone's upgrading, everyone looks like they're winning, but not because you're bitter, but because you've seen behind the curtain. You know that trip was financed, that car is leased, that watch is sitting on a credit card balance they'll be paying off for 2 years. You're not impressed anymore. You're just tired of the performance. And once you stop measuring yourself against people who are performing wealth instead of building it, everything changes. You stop feeling poor, you stop feeling rushed, you just keep doing what you're doing, knowing that quiet money beats loud money every single time. Like, if you've lost interest in keeping up, you're not falling behind, you're pulling ahead. let me tell you about James, because he's the reason I started noticing these patterns in the first place. James is 34, works in logistics, makes decent money, nothing crazy. Probably 70, 80 grand a year, and for the longest time, I thought he was struggling. His car's old, his apartment's small, he never goes anywhere. Meanwhile, his coworker Sarah is always posting about trips, new furniture, dinner at expensive spots. She looks like she's crushing life. James looks like he's stuck in 2015, but then something happened that flipped my entire understanding. Sign 5, the emergency that wasn't an emergency. James' transmission blew out, completely dead. The repair shop quoted him $4,500. I was there when he got the call. And you know what he did? Sighed, said, all right. Transferred the money that afternoon, fixed the car, went to work the next day like nothing happened, no panic, no scrambling, no credit card debt spiral, just handled it and moved on. 2 months later, Sarah's laptop died, $800 to replace, same salary as James, same city, way smaller expense. She posted about it for a week, started a payment plan, talked about how unfair life was, and that's when I realized wealth isn't about what you earn. It's about what doesn't break you. James had built something Sarah hadn't, a foundation. And when life swung at him, he didn't even flinch. If you've had something go wrong recently and it didn't derail your month, you're not lucky. You're wealthy in a way most people aren't. Sign 6. You own something that pays you without asking. James told me something over beers last year. He bought a duplex when he was 29, lives in half, rents out the other side. Tenant covers about 70% of his mortgage. He also started buying dividend-paying stocks a few years back. Nothing fancy, boring blue chip stuff. But every quarter, money shows up. You know, like a couple $100 here, you know, like a few hundred there. It's not life-changing, but it's automatic. That changes everything because most people only have one kind of income, the kind that stops when they stop. But James has two kinds: money he works for and money that works for him. Even if he got fired tomorrow, cash would still trickle in. That's not rich in the flashy sense, but it's rich in the way that actually matters. It's a floor, a safety net, a foundation that doesn't depend on his energy that day. If you own anything, stocks, real estate, a side business that generates income while you sleep, you're not just earning, like you're building leverage most people never touch. Sign 7, you've become unemployable in the best way. Here's the wildest part about James. He doesn't love his job. It's fine, pays the bills, but it's not his passion, and yet he's the calmest person I know. Why? Because he's done the math. He's got about $190,000 invested. His duplex is building equity. His expenses are low. If he walked away tomorrow, he could coast for 18 months without touching his investments. Maybe 2 years if he tightened up. That knowledge changes how you show up. You're not desperate. You're not kissing ass. You're not tolerating garbage because you're terrified of losing a paycheck. You set boundaries. You negotiate. You walk away from what doesn't serve you. Sarah makes the same money. Hates her job just as much. But she can't leave. She's trapped. One missed paycheck and she's in trouble. That's the difference. Wealth isn't the car in your driveway. It's the exit you can take when everything else goes sideways. If you've built enough runway that you could walk away from what's not working, you're not just doing fine, you're free, and freedom is the whole point of money. Sign 8, you feel poor, but the numbers say otherwise. Here's the strangest sign of all. James has nearly 200 grand invested, owns half a duplex, no credit card debt, and he still feels broke, still drives a 13-year-old Camry, still buys store brand groceries, still says, I can't afford that. When someone suggests an expensive dinner, nothing about his life looks wealthy, but those numbers mean something most people never achieve. Options, breathing room, the ability to survive a disaster without crumbling. And here's the kicker. That feeling of being broke, that's not a bug. That's a feature, because the moment you feel rich, you start spending like it. But if you keep that edge, that slight discomfort, that sense that you need to be careful you keep building.